Honorable Member for Vieux North.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to contribute to the debate, a very lively debate on the loan guarantee of $100 million for SLASPA by the government to ostensibly what the Prime Minister indicated, to refurbish the Hewanorra International Airport. But before I go into my contribution, Mr. Speaker, I'll ask you, even at this very early stage, to allow me to wish my constituents well in this season. And although we have other motions, at each occasion I wish to continue to ask them to be well in this season of strife, frustration, and be at peace. I also wish, Mr. Speaker, to recognize that this is the last sitting of the Parliament, I hope. And in this building, I didn't know they were already demolishing it before year end. But for the year, I assume, Mr. Speaker, and I note, Mr. Speaker, that we continue to operate without a Deputy Speaker. I also note, Mr. Speaker, before I continue, that of all of the important statements that members opposite wanted to make this morning, you can see where the heart of this government is. I heard no statement on crime this morning, Mr. Speaker. I think the number of homicides are somewhere like 42.
7 in the last 2 weeks.
In the last 2 weeks, 7. No statement on the victims or what the government feels for those victims and the country as a whole. That's not important. Laugh at that. Kenny can't, but I will. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, I want to speak on the justification that was presented by the Prime Minister for this $100 million guarantee. Because, Mr. Speaker, nous venons ici aujourd'hui pour demander Parlement, Jean Capé taxe en Saint-Lucie, flou Parlement, pour garantir un loan of $100 million américains sorting out of Taiwan. And the Prime Minister said, and I agree with the member for Castries East, when he indicated that the Prime Minister in his justification spoke, in fact, gave a lot of stories. Parking of a 777, immovable obstacles, runaway and parking of planes, baggage carousels, breaches in relation to the ICAO standards and other requirements, hubs. A lot of justification. He calls it justification. The Prime Minister also said that it was important because they had already started to construct a road to make Choiseul and Labrie closer to the airport. That's really interesting, Mr. Speaker. Because before the protests of the people, there was no mention of any road being built to accommodate the airport. It's only after the DSH pronouncements and the protests of the people, we are hearing now that the road is not really for DSH but for the airport. It's very curious, Mr. Speaker. It is very obvious that the explanations by the Prime Minister have left out the essential details. And the Prime Minister tries to say that it is SLASPA who has the details. And my colleague from Castries South is correct. The Prime Minister and his government, all of them, want us to approve $100 million loan, a guarantee for $100 million loan, but do not want to give us the details. Do not want to give us the details. I understand even more, every time I come to Parliament, Mr. Speaker, why the member for Castries South is said that we just start to cry. And I will follow the colleague from Castries South when he asks the people not to cry. And if they're saying we are the ones crying for them, let it be so. But not to cry. Mr. Speaker, raison pour l'ONU, $100 millions américains pour dépenser, yo dit pour ranger rapport. Raison pour l'ONU, j'ai toujours, yo pourquoi ban nous ces détails là. C'est qu'on un job en sac. Un job en sac. And when the member for Castries South asks the questions, they laugh. And the Prime Minister tries to stop him. Un job en sac. Et que vous voulez nous venir ici pour approve a job en sac. They want us to go to our constituencies and say, yes, they are building an airport, and therefore everybody should be happy. And our children, and the children of our constituents who will be burdened with the loan, with the responsibility of the loan guarantee. Have to just take it. Children who are born today, by the time they are ready to vote, Mr. Speaker, they may be burdened with that responsibility. But they don't want us to ask questions. No concerns about the contingent liability of the government. So it's as if SLASPA is taking the loan, so why worry? It's not the government that's taking it. It's SLASPA, so why worry? And I have heard no discussions about contingent liability. And maybe in his rebuttal, the Prime Minister may wish to respond, although he prefers to let St. Lucians bray. But I'm hoping that I'm not braying, that he will respond. Mr. Speaker, it is very curious that the Prime Minister indicated that the government or SLASPA will need more than $100 million to complete the project. And the Prime Minister said that during the first 5 years, there will be savings and more work will be done. A pièce explanation. We do not deserve an explanation. That is the government that said they came to make things transparent. They are not going to borrow. Mr. Speaker, so I ask the question, what is the real cost of rehabilitating the airport? Our colleague from Castries South asked it. Qu'est-ce qui réel, qui coûte l'argent airport la ka coûté? Is it a case of starting the airport, getting money to start it, and in 2.5 years' time, 2 years' time, the real cost comes to Parliament? And is that a responsible way to operate? Is it a responsible way to operate? Is the airport $100 million US? Is it a $200 million US? What is the real cost of the airport? Personne passe à dire nous combien l'aéroport a coûté. And there are no justifications for the relocation that have been provided to the public or to the parliament. They have gone ahead to build the roads around the DSH site, and during the last rains, Mr. Speaker, over 3 feet of water rushed across the runway. Un haut 3 pieds glo qui partait jamais fait avant because of Sayoka Febo DSH rushed across the runway. The very place they have said they're going to put the new airport. So, have there been geotechnical studies? Est-ce lazani expert qui a fait study? Parce que the place they're thinking of putting the airport is at a lower elevation than where the current airport is. What are there studies that have been done? If we are going to get a guarantee for $100 million US, don't the people of St. Lucia deserve details? They are putting the airport across the bottom of the base. They are putting the airport across what is called the Kakabeth. What implications are there, Mr. Speaker, for the whole aerodrome? Have we now cut off access to land around the Kakabeth area? All of these answers, you know, they laugh because they are the experts. And we do not deserve the answers. As parliamentarians, we don't deserve the answers. So they laugh at those things. But I will continue to ask. So it's very clear, Mr. Speaker, that they are not, the money will not complete the airport. It's very clear. The Prime Minister said it. And so St. Lucians are being asked to take a jabber sack. That is what St. Lucians are being asked to take here today. So there is no full disclosure, Mr. Speaker. The design will be disclosed in January, and the rest of the airport will be discussed at a later date. As my two colleagues have said before, Mr. Speaker, no tender documents, no public engagement, and therefore, this is being done in secret. Is it a secret deal? Who are the consultants who are working on the airport? How did they get their contracts? How many of them are from St. Lucia? C'est moun qui a travaillé l'aéroport, qui a design ces buildings là. Qui moun yo ye? And we have said before on this side of the house that so many things in here remind us of the previous attempt by many of them to construct the airport. So, Mr. Speaker, it is questions. But if it's the same plans, say so. If it is the same plans, Mr. Speaker, I boys you can shout pal outside, but it's the same plans, it's the same plans. Just change location, just change tout bagay, but it's the same plans. You're not doing something in secret. We don't have the details in the parliament.
Exactly. So it's not the same.
And we are held to guarantee $100 million US. And there's nothing for that. Shouting across the table will not achieve the fact that we do not have the details. What this is all about, Mr. Speaker, is not about 737s and parking and who is sitting where. We know the airport terminal needs to be refurbished. We know that. And the refrain of we will do it. You all were there before and you all did not finish it. And there are reasons for that. what is happening here, Mr. Speaker, is clearly a continuation of how this government has been operating. So this is not just about the airport. Ça qu'a fait Jodia, c'est manier gouvernement qu'a opéré. They came into government, found a project on its way, stop it. Because there are things in there that must happen the way they want it to happen, for particular reasons. And there are lots of other examples, Mr. Speaker. It is about concentrating power to get hold of resources as long as there is benefit to their friends and preferred agents. That is what it is. That is what it is. And this is happening at the expense of the majority of St. Lucians, and the responsibilities of the majority of St. Lucians, and the burdens that have been placed by that same government by the majority, on the majority of St. Lucians, Mr. Speaker. And I will tie that in a while, because we're talking about guarantees, we're talking about loans. Mr. Speaker, Samuel Kadia say, Zafè yo ka fè airport là. Nous brisons manger airport terminal là. Mais du bout projet qui te a commencé là yo vinn au pouvoir. C'est pas about airport là. Parce que ça a fait un autre projet. Yo vini yo joindre qui yo du bout. Et là regardez ça yo ka fait. En chaque exemple, c'est qui manière pouvoir yo ka mettre pouvoir à de yon place parce que yo vle c'était moun obligé on la meilleur pouvoir ça là. And will there be any independent reviews? My colleagues before me have asked the questions. Will the contracts go to tender? And what about the Taiwanese connection? It is interesting, Mr. Speaker, and I'm hoping that with the quantum, $100 million US, I'm hoping, Mr. Speaker, that the procedures to access, to have the funds accessed will be proper, by the contractors will be proper. It's going to be very interesting to find out whether the taxpayers of Taiwan, through their agents, will go through the kinds of things that we saw happen in the Taiwanese fund scandal of the past. A matter that remains unresolved, Mr. Speaker. And for many people, explanations and poetry about, yes, we need the airport and Vieux and the South and so on, they believe that that caters for possible improper procedures. And because you get the airport, you should not follow procedures because the people want an airport, give it to them no matter what happens. It's really a choice. It's really a choice, Mr. Speaker. Gouvernement ça c'est un choix yo qu'a fait. C'est choix yo pour mettre airport là avant l'hôpital là. Is the choice to choose horse stables and starting gates before bed sheets at Victoria Hospital? Is the choice? It's a choice. That's how this government is. C'est choix yo pour faire ça, except ça yo qu'a fait. It's not about the general population. It's the choice. Mr. Speaker, the choice is also to squeeze the working class people, the public servants and all of them. Their strategy is to put a sieve in the funnel that is so challenging that all you get is trickle down. And the people who are getting the trickle down is the real ching-ching they get in the pockets. And the dollars are remaining in other people's pockets. The ching-ching they spoke about, that's what it is. And they spoke about employment. The Prime Minister said, employment. The airport will bring employment. Oh, they like to say that. To the people of the South. I wonder how many people, and you know, they used to say, Mr. Speaker, that the DSH project is the biggest project that St. Lucia will ever see in the South, and it will employ hundreds of people and blah, blah, blah. When the horse racing track begins, young people from everywhere will be employed. Mr. Speaker, all of us will be happy for employment. But just as the Prime Minister says that the airport will be a big magnet for employment, he said the same thing about the horse race course. He said there will be 800 people employed. That's what he said. In many places. I'm just showing you that those things are used to bluff people. The Prime Minister said in many places that 800 people will be employed in building the racetrack. 800. That's what he said. That's what he said. Did that happen?
You would stop crying, more people did.
Did that happen? Est-ce la teni 800 moun ka travay an le racetrack la? Est 800 moun te ka travay an le racetrack la?
You stop crime? You stop murders?
You said 800. You said 800 in constructing the racetrack. 800. So si ou misspoke encore, di sa? Ou ben, si c'est mensonge, massav? Ou ben, si c'est kwenad? 800 moun zodi. Combien moun, est-ce la teni 800 ka travay? So they use those things, Mr. Speaker, to aggrandize, you know, to beat chess. 800 people will be working. Mr. Speaker, I have lots of nice explanations in Creole to explain that to you, but I will not do it here.
Give it a shot, give it a shot, give it a shot.
I will tell you what kind of jockey I would make.
Give it a shot.
I will tell him what kind of jockey I would make, but let's go. So, Mr. Speaker, moi just vle sav, many réponses by zafè jockey là, mais ma ID ici.
No, give it a shot.
So what guarantees are there?
Give it a shot. You can't speak Creole.
So, Mr. Speaker, it is part of a trend of making St. Lucians strangers in their own country. Connaissez pas cette lycée?
Honorable Member, Castries, Vieux, North. Honorable Members, you're all deafening the man. I'm not hearing the Honorable Member.
A jockey, eh?
Honorable Member, Vieux, North. Continue, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know the member wants to stop me, but... So, Mr. Speaker, sa mwen ka di ase, le yo ka vini fè pou met, ale, katite moun ki kay travay an se plas sa. Se bay la yo zafè a, poko ni evidence la, ki se moun yo ka di ka travay la, kay travay. Premier ministre la te di, 800 moun kay fè racetrack la, se sa te di, 800, 800 moun. Moi, je suis là, je combien de chocs moun ka sort tout partout, combien de chocs moun. Mais si 800 moun pas faire racetrack là, massa ça ka parle about. And at the same time, Mr. Speaker, this is the same government, you know, that takes away people's land. They stop an airport project. They come and tell you all kinds of things about the road is being built because of the airport. and not the DSH. How they're making things better for people. How if Kenny couldn't, I will. And this is the same government that goes around and jukes people with taxes.
So you did read the email about how can you make it happen?
Because, Mr. Speaker, they are not the ones, and those people whom they are facilitating, they are not the ones feeling the $13,000 in gas tax on fishers. Because those whom they facilitate don't go to sea. They are not the ones. So when the fishers are paying $13,000 in tax every year in fuel tax, they don't care about that. Mr. Speaker, when they are doing all of this, guaranteeing a $100 million US $100 million loan, and we don't know how much more is needed. All of that is hidden somewhere. The jabber sack. When they are doing all of that, they are also causing public servants with a little car to spend $6,000 in additional gas taxes. And they tell you things are better. And when they are doing all of that, Mr. Speaker, guaranteeing a $100 million US loan from the Taiwanese, they want to give away our hospitals to private entities. And when they are doing all of that, Christmas time is coming, Mr. Speaker. They have added $1 to the cooking gas. And you know why? I tell you, Mr. Speaker, I get them. You know why? Because Christmas time is when endless more people using the gas. So you have to buy more gas tanks, they'll make more money and collect more tax. So they added $1 to it, Christmas time. Heartless people, Mr. Speaker. And they come here to guarantee $100 million US. And even at the level of the cooking gas at Christmas time, when people are baking their little things and stewing a little meat, after all the hardship that they have created to try to be happy, they add $1 to the gas, the cooking gas. That's a set of people who care, Mr. Speaker. Say, Munsa Pamele. So for them, $100 million US is nothing. For them, $100 million is nothing. So, Mr. Speaker, what I want to say is this. The working people of St. Lucia are the ones carrying the burden of the excesses of this government. It is the middle class, some people call the middle class, who are becoming the working poor in this country, Mr. Speaker, because of the policies of this government. They have come here to guarantee $100 million US, and they believe it has no impact on the economy in terms of who may pay for it. I guess they can control all flights for the next 20 years. I guess they can control the St. Vincent Airport that American Airlines will now land at in the next few days, or if it has done so this week. I guess, Mr. Speaker, they can control all these vagaries. All these vagaries.
Anything different you do, everybody gets in your flights.
And so, Mr. Speaker, I believe it is reckless. And while the process to renovate the Hewanorra Airport was in train, the other thing of saying, we will do it. You all couldn't do it. We will do it. I'm waiting for them, you know. Because I have about 50 projects that they started that they couldn't finish. Many of which we had to come and finish. So this thing of you all are the implementers, you all are the workers. You know what they are workers for? They are workers to benefit their chosen group of beneficiaries. That's what they are workers for. But they're not workers for the $150 gas that people are being charged. They're not workers for the fishers who are paying $13,000 extra in gas taxes. They're not workers for these people. The people who are losing access to their lands, they're not workers for these people. But they boast they are workers. They know who they are workers for. They know who they are workers for. And so, Mr. Speaker, because of the recklessness, because this is a job and sack, they are actually going to vote for something that they are showing they know nothing about. Maybe they know it, and the rest of St. Lucia don't know. This is the redevelopment of an airport where they have come and not given us the true picture, the total cost. And I agree with my colleague when the member from Choiseul always says things like, either he's not a politician, or what he said, he don't trust politicians, words to that effect. He don't understand politicians and so on. I don't know. I know this man for a long time, but that is something I hate. I really don't like to hear those things. That's his view. But I believe politics is a noble profession. I believe politics is important. I believe politicians have an important job to do in the country. So the notion that, this negative thing about politicians, they are bad politicians. They are bad politicians. But imagine you are going to guarantee a loan of $100 million US, and you do not have the full details of the project. But you're not presenting the project to the parliament. This is highly irresponsible. So, okay, it's for SLASPA. Let's take that line before I go, Mr. Speaker.
So you have no right to ask anything.
They're shouting it's for SLASPA. Okay, it's for SLASPA. It's for SLASPA. So it's our responsibility. We guarantee it, but we are not to know what SLASPA, we are not to know the details. That's what you all are saying. That's what they're saying in this house. It's not our business. It's not, forget about us. It's not the business of the people to know. That's what you all promised them. That's what you all promised. Jabasak. Job in Haiti. I don't know what reflections you have on Haiti. Job in Haiti. Can you imagine you saying that? Job in Haiti. Haiti is a proud country, a country that led the freedom of black people to Saint Louverture in this whole hemisphere. And you're talking about job in Haiti?
Honorable member.
How many minutes, sir? I ain't letting them escape,
Honorable member, I will so indicate. I'm just saying you don't be straight. Stay on focus. Yeah, but honorable member remain focused, sir. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm very focused, but I'll end on this note, Mr. Speaker. I will say it's a job a sack, not job in Haiti. Haiti is a proud country. They have their challenges, but we ought to be proud of Haiti, and we should thank Haiti. Disrespectful. You know what, Mr. Speaker, I'm proud of? I serve the Lord Jesus Christ. The way he's speaking, I don't know who they serve. I know that Lord Jesus Christ is God and Lord. That's what I serve. I don't serve any other people who put in yellow flags on poles. So when he said something about Haiti, I don't know what he meant. But those little insinuations are important to point out in the house. Job in Haiti, I serve Jesus Christ and Lord, not the one on the poles and sweeping the streets in the city of Castries.
Where I've asked you not to go.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I will get emotional on the Haiti one. Because, these are little subliminal messages that we throw out. So, Mr. Speaker, unless, I'm not on nerves, sir. Unless, Mr. Speaker, this government will tell the people of St. Lucia, these gens cette ici, qui ça a fait loan airport ça about? These gens cette ici, qui ça whole bagay job sac deal qui nous pas savent about? Yo gale pour golon ek moun pas savent qui ça qui en sac là. Yo même ka dit, Mr. Speaker, that yo pas, ça pas tout l'argent pour airport là. Ça pas tout l'argent pour airport là. Ça pas tout l'argent pour airport là. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. There'll be another opportunity to speak on those matters in a while. But I thank you very much, and I cannot, like my colleagues, support this $100 million US guarantee. And Mr. Speaker, you know what it has done since they came into office?
Honorable member.
So, Mr. Speaker, since they came into office, they have committed or borrowed a total of $814 million in the budget and outside of the budget. Think about it, and I want you, Mr. Speaker, to think about it. I want you to think about it for a moment. And Mr. Speaker, I want the parents who are pregnant, mothers who are giving birth, people who have little children, people who are working, to think about this. Every month, on average, since this government came to office, when you look at the loans, it's $27.14 million per month, every month. Every week, it's about $6 million per week. And every day, it's close to $1 million, 0.97 something. Think about it. So, when you go to sleep tonight, and you get up tomorrow, it's $1 million that they borrowed. When you go to sleep on Wednesday, and you get up on Thursday, say $1 million you got put in. So if they continue at this rate, I want you to calculate, Mr. Speaker, if they continue at this rate, how much they will borrow. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.